Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is taken from a double-up game I'm playing here together with JDP El Grillo. And in this video, we're going to be looking at a different team composition, that being an underground setup. Underground is the economic trait here in set 8. And like some of its previous incarnations, things like fortune, mercenaries, pirates, etc., it is a trait that does not give you any in-combat advantage, unlike pretty much all the other traits. It is just used to generate additional income, and it does it in the form of heists, as if you're kind of trying to steal from a bank vault is kind of the theme that they're going with in this particular set. So we'll take a look at that as this goes along and just have a chance to talk a little bit more about the mechanic, because Underground is not something that I'm going to feature very often. Tends to be a very high risk, high reward setup, and that's generally not the playstyle that I go for. If you're familiar with how I play these games, I'm usually trying to play for a top 4 finish, not so much trying to play for a win the lobby finish, if that makes sense. Okay, so we're getting this just started here. I was able to take my favorite opening here at the start of the set, which is the belt opening. Grillo and I actually both like taking the belt opening, but he has been very kindly letting me grab the belt, and I think he's been starting Chain Vest in a lot of these games, which has been working pretty well for us, although these is still early in the set, so we're not hitting the most difficult opponents here in our double-up matches. I started out by getting 2 Vi's, and then I actually hit the Vi 2-star, which is quite nice. It's like, oh, 2-star brawler this early. That's pretty good. And then I also have this Kale here. So I was like, I wasn't thinking of playing into Underground, but I've got a 2-star Vi. I have 2 out of 3 Kales. It's like with this kind of setup, I probably should be at least thinking of playing into an Underground setup. I would just need to get one more Underground champ to drop. Whether that is Ezreal, is probably the most likely. Less likely Sona could pop out as well. And I've got some spellcasting items here, so I'm also picking up these Luxes because she might be able to use them. All right, we're going to get our augment here, and I don't really love most of these options. It's a silver augment. Star Guardian Renegade doesn't really feel like they're the right fits for what I have here on my opener. I actually thought about Star Guardians, but Grillo was kind of leaning towards something, and we don't want to be playing the same team composition. So I ended up just taking the Thief's Glove instead, and we'll look to go from there. So it turned out that Grillo had an Ezreal in his store, and so he's going to use the early send to send me an Ezreal just so I can get Underground trait into play immediately. So we're going to go ahead and toss that in and see what we can do. And then I'll put this Ashe in as well because that'll make Recon trait with Ezreal. So we're going to have Underground trait in from the very start of the game, which is what you want if you're going to be playing into this setup. If you're going to play Underground, you really do want to get it into play almost immediately, because then you can start getting the Underground stacks and start working towards that first Underground heist. All right, well, let's go ahead and read the official description for Underground. We're still early in the set. People are still learning what these traits are. And Underground is unique. It's new. It has not been around in any of the other sets, like some of these traits are reprints. All right, here we go. Underground. The Underground must sneak through the sewers and crack 10 locks to open a vault. When the vault opens, you may choose to take the loot now or attempt another heist for even better rewards. So again, this is economic trait. It's a bit like mercenaries, a bit like pirates, etc. Also, probably the best comparison is to fortune, in the sense that how people would have to cash out fortune in order to get the benefit. So it doesn't do anything until you actually take the heist option. Now you're going to see on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little numerical indicator. It says 4 out of 20, and that is our heist counter. Has a little like manhole cover leading down into the sewers. You will only see this if you are running Underground as a trait. So the way that Underground trait works, if you're running 3 Underground, which is what I have now, and it's what people are going to run most of the time, for each win with Underground trait in, you get 2 stacks. For each loss, you get 3 stacks. So that makes progress towards the heist. And when the meter fills up all the way, you have the option to continue the heist, keep going for better rewards, or you can cash out and take the rewards right there. And then the more heists that you have, the greater the rewards for running the trait. Also, if you run 5 Underground, the benefits are increased. With 5 Underground, a win gives you 3 stacks and a loss gives you 5 stacks. So if you have 5 Underground and you're loss streaking, you will accumulate the stacks very quickly. Now, normally it is 10 stacks in order to open a vault. The reason why you're seeing 20 on the counter is because this is the two-player mode. This is double up, and it functions a little bit differently in two-player mode. Basically, it just counts both players simultaneously. So we have the setup here where my losses and Grillo's losses and our wins, for that matter, are counted together. We're actually both win streaking so far. We've had 2 rounds, and we've both won each of those rounds. So we've been getting 2 stacks per round. Now, I should also say a little bit about Grillo's board here. He is running a Renegade setup, and he has found 6 Camille's already. Yeah, so he's running a Renegades board, and he has 6 Camille's. So we were like, all right, well, we're going to do whatever we can to get him the 3-star Camille, and he has +1 Renegade from his augment. So he's going to have the option to play into 6 Renegades, which is very, very strong right now. It's actually performing really, really well in the data. I think the average placement of 6 Renegades was like 3.7, was like the average finish, which is insanely high if you're used to looking at the data. You do need to get either an emblem or an augment that gives you +1 Renegades, because normally there are only 5 Renegade units. So it makes sense that it's strong, but still, it's like super duper strong. So Grillo is going to be playing towards 3-star Camille, and he's going to be playing towards 6 Renegades. I guess I should also talk about what, by the way, I'm going to try to take this chain vest here, but no, I don't. Well, there's 2 chain vests, so I can get one of the 2 of them and slap it on Vi to get a Sunfire Cape, which will be a great frontline item. All right, so I guess I should talk briefly about the Renegade trait. Again, I'm not running Renegade, but Grillo is. Again, it's still early in the set, so there are only 5 Renegade units. It's an interesting split in terms of the cost tiers. There's 2 1-cost Renegades, Silas and Talon, and then Camille at the 2-cost. Nothing at the 3-cost tier, then Viego at 4-cost, and Leona at 5-cost. I tend to forget that Leona actually has the Renegade trait, because it's not something that you often play into when you're running her. But anyway, official description: Renegade units deal bonus damage. The last one standing deals more. So at Renegades 3, it's 40% bonus damage, another 20% for the last one alive. Renegade 6 is 80% bonus damage, 40% more for the last one alive. So Renegade 6 giving 80% bonus damage to like your whole Renegade team. That's pretty crazy. Again, you do need an emblem or an augment in order to get there, and I believe that Renegade is not one of the craftable emblems, so you can't make it with a spatula, if I'm remembering that correctly. If I have that wrong, I apologize, but I don't think it's one of the ones you can make. I think it's one of the ones you have to find off like a carousel or a tome of traits or something like that. Okay, well, I'm able to win another round. Unfortunately, Grillo lost that round. I did not get over there. I was able to find a Camille, though, so that's a plus. That way we'll be able to potentially send that. Also, you want to keep an eye on what items you roll on your Thief's Glove if you have it. So, for example, Ash just rolled a locket in this round, so I really should reposition to take advantage of the locket, and I believe that I do remember to do that. So, there we go. I'm going to reposition. Locket is a very strong early game item, gives that shield to up to 5 units. So, I'm going to make use of that here. Oh, by the way, Grillo's still only level 4. That's part of the reason why he lost. I think he said over our chat that he should have gone to level 5, and he probably would have won that round. I am hoping to win this. I would very much like to carry my win streak all the way through into the minion round and get a 5-match win streak. Now, this does mean I'm getting fewer stacks when it comes to the underground trait, but that said, win streaking with underground is honestly not that bad. It means you're not going to get as big of a cash out reward, but the big thing with underground is typically you are losing health by running it, because of course it does not give you any in-game, any in-combat advantage. So typically, if you are running a underground setup, you are losing health. It's normally a loss streaking trait. So, by the way, here we're going to get our first heist option. I can cash out for a cloak and 5 gold, but I'm going to opt to continue the heist in the hopes of bigger rewards. Also, by the way, look at what I found here. I found a Samira at 2% odds. That is tremendous news for me, because Samira is also one of the underground units in this set. She is the 4-cost underground. She's the most expensive underground unit. There is no 5-cost underground here in the set. And this is just a very strong unit that for this stage of the game, she has underground and ace traits, so she will execute units that are on very low health. So I was like, oh man, is there any way I can get this unit on the board? Because that's got to be better than something, right? Like, she's probably better than Ezreal, even though Ezreal's giving Ashe the recon trait. Like, 1-star Ez, 1-star Ashe, not especially impressive units. It's like, can I get this unit on the board somehow? But then I hit the Yasuo 2-star, and I was like, okay, well, I've got to play Yasuo 2-star. And then I was like, I think I kind of have to keep everything on the board here as much as I want to play this Samira. I don't think I can take anything out. So I need Vi for Underground. I need Kale for Underground. The Renekton is giving me Laser Core and Brawler. The Yasuo is giving me Laser Core and Duelist together with Kale. I guess I could take out the Ezreal. That would lose Recon trait just to play Samira. That's probably the best option. But I actually have a very nice setup here in terms of traits. 3 Laser Core, 3 Underground, 2 Recon, 2 Brawler, 2 Duelist. Like, my team has very nice internal synergies. There's not really any wasted units here. So I was like, all right, as nice as the Samira is, I actually don't think I play it for the moment. Even though that feels really weird, I don't know what I would take out in order to play this unit. And it looks like we're still winning. I mean, I've won every single round while running an Underground team composition. So, again, not what you're typically going to see with Underground. Normally, you're going to see people loss streaking. But as I said, I don't think this is bad. It is a little reminiscent to me of running Fortune in set 4. Obviously, Fortune was famous for people getting the big cash outs. Oh, by the way, we've got another augment here. And I was like, well, let's just take Cybernetic Shell. I would take the Recon. Oh, by the way, there's another Samira. I was like, what? I have 2 out of 3 Samiras already. It's actually costing me a lot of gold just to have the Samiras. That's 8 gold sitting on my bench, not doing anything. But obviously, I'm going to take this. At some point, I'm going to look to put this unit in. At some point, I definitely want to play this unit. But I don't think that's the case just yet. I can't. Ezreal would be the one to come out, but I actually don't mind getting the Recon trade. There's also the chance, by the way, for me to find Sona and play 5 Underground, which would be pretty funny. But I have not found a Sona yet, so that has not been a realistic option. Maybe at level 7, if I found Sona at level 7, I might actually do it, but we'll see. I could just take out the Ashe and put the Thief's Glove on Samira. Anyway, to get back to the point I had a minute ago, though, it's a little bit reminiscent of Fortune trait in set 4, because people would think about the big cash out with Fortune. You're on like a 7-8 loss streak and then finally win the round and get the huge cash out. But Fortune was actually really nice just to win streak with as well, because Fortune would typically give you like an extra 1 gold, 2 gold, sometimes 3 gold, even if you were on a win streak. And like that, if you're win streaking with 50 gold in the bank and you had Fortune, you would just be getting absolutely crazy amounts of income. Now, Underground's a bit different in the sense that it doesn't give you anything until you actually, cash out. So I guess it's a bit like Fortune in that sense, or like Mercenaries, in the fact that you actually do have to cash out to get the benefit. Similarly, you'd have to win a round to get the benefit from Fortune. Otherwise, it didn't do anything for you. So, but I'm kind of stacking up these heist stacks, but I have actually gotten nothing until I actually get up to the next tier until I actually hit the heist reward. So, as I said, it is kind of a loss streaking trait. By the way, we already have 3-star Camille between us. Grillo has 7, I have 2. So we could double send for 3-star Camille if we needed to. But we clearly are not having a lot of difficulty. We're winning rounds. We've lost, I think, 1 round the entire game. And I still haven't lost it, but I think Grillo just had the 1 lost round. I'm also up against this person. This person's also running Underground. And they are running it with a setup that is definitely not as strong. So they are more loss streaking with this trait. But I actually have more Underground stacks because I had the trait in from the very first rounds of the game. And I think it took them a couple rounds before they were able to get this in. So normally Underground is more high risk, high reward. Normally it's a setup where you're losing rounds. And then the question is, how long can you lose rounds? How long can you push your health before you opt to take the cash out and then look to get stronger? It is interesting, though, that you don't actually ever have to win a round with Underground. You can actually just lose every round and still eventually get the cash out benefit. Of course, you're going to be losing health by doing that, but you ultimately do not have to win a round. Like for Fortune, for Mercenaries, you had to win a round to get the benefits. You don't actually have to do that here in this set. Well, there's a Samira on Carousel, so I 100% would take that just to get 2-star Samira, but that unit goes away. Gets grabbed, unsurprisingly. So I was like, all right, well, at least I can get a sword here. Fortunately, I'm quicker on the draw than that other player who was maybe sleepwalking a little bit. And so I will happily take this sword, and then I have to figure out what unit I'm going to put it on. I think I wanted to put it on Samira. By the way, here we're going to get our first present, and I can't remember what I got here. Let's see what the option is. I think it might be the 3 components. Let's find out what I was able to get. That was a component anvil. So I'm going to go ahead and I believe I take the sparring glove here just because that can then turn into an infinity edge. I wouldn't mind the sword, but I just took a sword. So also other good stuff happening. I find a Viego. So that's going to go over to Grillo. Viego is the main carry in a Renegade's board. The 5-quest Renegade is Leona, who's a tank, so you're not going to be looking to run that unit. All right, and now I decide, you know what, if I have an Infinity Edge, it's better off just dropping the Ezreal. We lose Recon trait, which gives its units a little bit of additional critical strike chance and the ability to dash away if they get focused. But Samira with an Infinity Edge is going to be much better than an Ezreal with a tier. Even though I lose the Recon trait, this is still a definite upgrade, so I'm happily going to make this particular switch. And now let's see if we have enough to beat this person. This person's only level 5. Again, some of the people we were hitting this early in the set, not quite as strong as some of the double-up boards that we've seen in other games, but they do have an awful lot of 2-stars. So is this finally going to be the first loss of the setup? And it looks like it is. I don't think Ash can overcome that. So I do finally take a loss. Again, that person's only level 5, though, so their econ is not quite what mine is. Hey, I do get additional underground stacks, though, right? I get 3 instead of 2. All right, and then here is the option to send Grillo a gift back. Let's see what he wants. I think he takes the Thief's Glove, if I remember correctly, but let's see what he actually chooses here. Again, oh no, he chose the Tier 4 champion. Which Tier 4 champion did he get? I believe I went over there to see, and it looks like he got Echo, which is not a bad pickup at all either. Echo just fits into so many different team compositions. So I have the option to level here to level 7. If I was win streaking still, I think I would have done that, but because I am now no longer on a win streak, I'm going to opt to stay here at level 6. Also, Grillo found an 8th Camille, so I'm going to send him 1 more for 9 Camille's. And now he has his 3-star Camille. And yeah, three Renegade. He has 3 Renegade with 3 Aegis, and he's got a 3-star Camille with very, very good itemization for Camille. So his board is going to be rather strong. Let's just leave it at that. 3-star Camille with 3 Renegade in is going to do an awful lot of damage. So we should see him. He's already on a win streak, and hopefully he'll be able to keep that win streak going. In this fight, Vi is tanking for the rest of my team. Vi is doing fantastic work here. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have another board coming over here. So is that going to be enough? They have a 2-star Ashe. I don't think I have enough to win this round, given that it's 2 boards, and Grillo not quite able to get there fast enough. But that's not too bad. Again, we do get more underground stacks for that, and it was a very close loss, so not too bad, all things considered. Well, here we will get the chance for the second heist reward. It'll pop up any second now. So now, Redemption, Sunfire, Cape, Reforger. I will opt to continue the heist. By the way, I get another Samira. Samira 2-star. I was like, what is this? I found 3 Samiras, 2 at 2% odds, or I think it was 1 at 2% odds, and then 2 at 5% odds. That's pretty crazy. So we'll just go ahead and replace the Ashe with this Senna, because that'll put Sure Shot trait in. One thing I do want to highlight, though, is how the benefits for each additional heist go up quite substantially as we get some more stuff. We actually get a spatula here. That's pretty interesting. I also get another... excuse me. I now also can send the Viego over to Grillo, so we'll do that any minute now. First, I'm just going to try to itemize the Samira, and I also have to think about what I want to do with this spatula. So we'll go ahead and make Rage Blade, and then we still have this spatula. I was like, I don't know quite what I'm going to do with this. I sent it over to Grillo, so he can potentially make something with it. I believe he ends up making an Ox Force emblem, if I remember correctly, because that is one of the craftable emblems in this game. So I sent the spatula over to him. I've been a good teammate. I sent him a Camille, and I sent him a Viego, and I believe that's going to let his board get up to 6 Renegade. Oh no, he still needs to find a Leona for that, so he can't quite get up to 6 Renegades yet. But as soon as we find Leona, either one of us, he should be able to play 6 Renegades, which is very, very strong. Anyway, my board not looking too shabby either, especially given that I've been running Underground the whole game. We both went around super fast. I've got a 2-star Samira, and this is an insane high roll to have 2-star Samira at before I hit level 7 and without rolling at all. Just completely crazy. So I've just replaced Ashe with Senna, who is a Sure Shot unit, which is a better fit. And by the way, look at this. Here's Senna, the support augment. She grants herself and adjacent allies 30% additional damage. So it's like, all right, well, that just makes, 2-star Senna, and I will put units next to her, and they will get the additional damage. I don't want every unit to be next to her. I still want to keep my front line up there, but I don't really care if Vi gets additional damage, but I will go ahead and look at this. Now I just have 1-star Renekton. I was like, all right, well, we can just maybe replace Renekton with Sejuani. That's got to be a better unit. And then we can put this Thief's Glove on somebody. I don't want a Thief's Glove on my bench doing nothing. There's got to be a better way to use this. So I think we just put it on one of these units. Maybe it goes on Yasuo because he's a 2-star unit with Laser Core and Duelist. Okay, yeah, Yasuo can just hold this for right now. I had been originally planning on going into Laser Core because I was kind of running a Laser Core setup. I was like, oh, I'll just go into Zed. But now that I have the 2-star Samira, it would be silly to go into Zed from here. We'll just go into Aphelios and play 4 short shots, and that makes more sense. Grillo was able to get the Viego carry augment in his Renegade team composition, so that's going to be a very nice fit for his particular setup. As I already said, I've got the Samira way earlier than I should have Samira as we beat this frontline team that's running double Knife's Edge. Well, I did want to go back to my point from before. I want to highlight that the heist rewards do go up very substantially at each additional heist level. So for the first heist, the one I had back on stage, beginning of stage 3, I think, the reward was 5 gold and a cloak. Not bad. I mean, you get an extra item component, a little extra gold. The general value of the first heist is, I believe, around 12 gold, roughly, is like the way that it's been determined by the developers. The second one you saw was 2 completed items. It was a Sunfire Cape and a Redemption. So the second one is generally believed to be, I think, around 30 gold worth of value if you get to the second one. So that was 2 completed items and a Reforger. I think the completed items are valued as being around 15 gold roughly, and the Reforger is worth around 5 gold, just the way that the developers have done this in their internal math. So the value, again, goes up by a lot, and we'll see the third reward coming up soon as well. The third reward, I believe, is valued at being around 50 gold. So it's like 12 or 13 gold for the first one, 30 gold for the second, 50 gold for the third one. And then I think it goes up to like 80 gold roughly for the fourth one, and et cetera, et cetera. There are 7 total heist levels in this game. You can keep going after 7 heists if you want, but you don't get any increased reward after that. Getting up to a 7 cash is pretty ridiculous. You need to be at 5 underground to be lost streaking to have any chance of getting there before the game is about to end. The big thing with underground, though, is if you're on the big lost streak, it's not just so much getting the cash out. It's then after you get the rewards, you need to then immediately pivot into a strong team setup, because usually if you're lost streaking with underground, you're going to be down around like 20 health, 10 health, and you can't afford to take any losses after that. So you have to be very careful about lost streaking. By the way, there's an Aphelios on this carousel, so I was like, everybody just left the Aphelios on the carousel? Okay, I'm playing a short shot team competition. Yes, I will take this Aphelios and slam him on my board. One cool thing about Aphelios is you can run him as a carry if you use one of his carry guns, but you can also use him as like a support CC bot if you use one of his crowd control gun. By the way, there's the Sona, but it's too late now. Not going to play, I can't play 5 underground now. It's just too late in the match. So yeah, we can look to just level, and I'll just level and play Aphelios here, just to put an additional unit on the board. So I'm going to take Binding Eclipse, which is his crowd control gun, and that means he'll just be able to stun people on the enemy team. So we're running Samira as the carry and then Aphelios as the support unit right now. And then we still have to find Sivir at some point. Sivir will give us 4 short shots, and I'll be able to take out units like Kale and Yasuo pretty soon, because I'm not going to need those units down the road. Maybe I can get another frontliner, which would be nice. Like Echo would slot into this team rather nicely, give me another rank of Aegis and another good frontliner. We still seem to be winning rounds, though, so yeah. This is not, if you were looking for an underground game where the player just like is walking the knife's edge, that is not what this is. This is a very comfortable match where we are win streaking very easily, but I did want to showcase that you can also run underground as a win streaking trait as well, and it can still give you significant benefits from doing so. My plan is now that I will take the third heist. We definitely have enough health that I could go for the fourth heist, but it's just that we're getting very late in the game. We're about to go to stage 5, and I don't think that it's really beneficial to go. There's not really much point in going for the fourth heist when the lobby there's not a lot of health on the other players in the lobby, and we're getting into endgame already. So yeah, not much point to that. Grillo is, by the way, going to make an Oxforce emblem, and I see that I was incorrect. It actually is possible to make a Renegade emblem. It is a spatula plus Brawler's Glove. So I was wrong on that. I did not think that that was possible, but it is one of the craftable emblems in this set. Okay, we're up against someone who has a 3-star Jax, and I mean, like, that sounds quite scary, but they only have 2 items on this unit, and yeah, Samira is actually kind of cutting through this pretty easily. Look at that crowd control from Yasuo as well. Very nice. So yeah, actually win this pretty easily, And the 3-star Jax basically they had Jax and nothing else, no support units around him. Also still even had an empty item slot too. All right, well, we're going to get the third reward, and I'm going to take the cut and run here. 2 loot orbs, a chain vest, a sparring glove, and a completed item. I was slightly disappointed by this. I actually thought that this was a somewhat subpar reward for for the fact that I was on the third cash out. I actually think that this is one of the weaker options as far as getting the third heist reward. But I do get 2 additional components, so, that's not terrible. That's not bad. I also got an item anvil, so I'll be able to pick what I want that comes out of this. And, of course, I'm getting more components here from the minion round. I'm actually going to have double anvils here, one that's a component anvil and one that's a completed item anvil. For the completed item anvil, I was like, oh, Giant Slayer. Okay, well, that's very nice. We can just put this on Samira because she is my main carry right now. And then clearly the other thing I want to do is itemize Aphelios with what else I've got. So I'd really like to get a bow so I can make a Rage Blade. And there we go. Double Rage Blades on my sure shots. Excellent. And then if we want, we can just make another Infinity Edge, I guess. I guess I could do Edge of Night, but I don't know that that's going to be that great. And then we can do Protector's Vow on Vi, and then we've just got this leftover rod. But remember, I'm running Cybernetic Shell as my augment here. So I can just stuff this on one of my frontliners, and they will get additional armor and additional health. So I believe I tossed this on the Alistar down the road. We're still looking for Leona, by the way, and at this point, it doesn't make any sense to stay here. I might as well just go level 9, because at level 9, I can try to find 2-star Aphelios, and I had the option to find other just legendary units. We'll just figure out what we want. Like, I could play Mordekaiser on this board. I guess I could play Fiddlesticks for more CC. I could play Syndra to toss units in off the bench. Like, I can make use of just about any of the legendary units. Maybe not Nunu. Nunu wouldn't really fit here. Even Nunu would give me mascot trait with Alistar, so would not be completely wasted. I'm still looking for Sivir as well. I've not found a Sivir in this game. I'm going to get another gift here from Grillo, though. So this is the partner gift. And he sends me an Ornn item, and so I'm going to get Eternal Winter. So I was like, oh, that's pretty nice. We'll just put this on Sejuani. Why not? And then now I can start moving out of the underground. So I'll go ahead and toss in this Yuumi, which is not amazing, but I think it's better than the what else did I have in there? The Kale? I don't think the Kale was doing much of anything. We still are looking to find Sivir, but again, I'm going to move Aphelios next to Senna so that he gets the additional AD from my augment. I don't love clumping up to this extent, but I do want to make use of this augment, and Aphelios is going to do some pretty nice damage. I'm actually still keeping him on the CC gun for right now. That is deliberate. My comp is a little bit low on crowd control, and I figured that Samira was outputting enough damage that it was okay to keep Aphelios on the Binding Eclipse, which is his crowd control gun that stuns when he hits. I figured that was probably fine, although Samira actually did get killed in this fight, so now it is up to Aphelios to try to finish this fight off. But fortunately, it looks like Vi was able to handle that. The enemy Zed ran over and avoided Aphelios. And oh my god, 1! He's on 1 HP! 1 out of 920. I don't think I've ever seen that before in a round of TFT. 1 HP out of 120. That is pretty insane. Now I have the chance to send something back over to Grillo again, and he is going to take the 3 components. Also, we found a Leona, so that's what he needs to get to 6 Renegades, so I'm going to send that over to him. So I actually ended up spending a lot of gold that round. I spent 13 gold to get him the 3 components, and then also 5 gold on the Leona. So it actually cost me a fair bit of money, but very, very worthwhile for us to do. So now he has 6 Renegades and has 4 Oxforce over there on his board. So yeah, with 6 Renegades, remember, 6 Renegades increases the benefit by a very large amount. I read that earlier in the game, but it goes from 40% bonus damage to 80% bonus damage. And now that's just going to be pretty crazy for both Camille and Viego, who are like the dual carries over there on his board. Meanwhile, on my board, we're still just trying to upgrade into the short shots. I want to get a better unit than Yuumi here. I want to get a better unit than Yasuo. Yasuo in particular is not really a great fit for this comp, but he is still giving me the laser core trait, so I'm keeping him on the board for right now. I have not found something better than him. I expect that I will be able to when I roll down. Did you see how quickly Grillo won his round and came over to join me? Yeah. His board is pretty capped out right now. I guess he still can get stronger. You can still find Leona 2-star, for example. Anyway, so, there's an Oxforce emblem here as well. So he has the option to take that and just get even more Oxforce units. He was already at 4 Oxforce. I believe this is going to allow him to go up to 6 Oxforce, if I'm remembering correctly. All right, and I'm going to have last pick here, so I will just take an item for Aphelios, and I'm going to grab the Death Blade. Even though it is only on a 1 gold champ here, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up anyway. So Aphelios is going to have an awful lot of AD, Infinity Edge, Rage Blade, and he's also going to have the Death Blade as well. By the way, more Alistars. Okay, Fiddles, well, that's better than whatever I have right now. Another Sedge. We can always pick up the Zac, I suppose. Oh, there's another Aphelios. Okay, so Nunu, yep, I'm going to make that substitution. Nunu for the whatever unit I had. Which unit was that? The Yuumi. And now I'm still looking. I'm trying to find a Sivir, which I have not been able to find. I was like, going to look to try to buy this Aphelios. Well, that'll be 2-star Aphelios, so that's really the most important unit for me to find. And then I just need to find Sivir, and then also try to find a better unit than Yasuo. There we go. So I'm able to sell the Yuumi and pick up that unit, so I don't have to lock for it. All right, so yeah, and by the way, that's a great Aphelios ult. He stunned like the entire enemy team. So I think my board is very strong, especially once I get the 2-star Aphelios in. And Grillo's board is, if anything, actually stronger than mine because he has the he has 6 Renegades, 6 Oxforce in now. So yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say that's a rather strong setup there. 6 Renegade giving all that damage, Oxforce giving all the additional attack speed. And there's another Nunu, so we're getting closer to Nunu 2-star. And I was going to pick up this Viego, but then I was like, oh, wait, I've already used all my sends. I can't do anything there. I already used up all the sends. I've also still got the Fiddlesticks on the board. And what is this? I get the Sivir from Go. Yeah, I believe I actually scrolled past a Sivir in my roll down, but Grillo had one, so he just sends over to me. And so that was the last substitution. Drop that Fiddles. That's not really doing anything. Now we've got 4 Sure Shot. We've got Aphelios 2-star with 4 Sure Shot and a very well itemized Samira and a very well itemized Aphelios over there. So yeah, this board is pretty good. Note that I also swapped Aphelios' gun. In order to swap his gun, you just take him off the board and put him back on the board again. So now he no longer has the CC gun. Now he has one of his damage guns. I picked the one that's better at killing frontline, the one that's the gun on the right-hand side, just because there was one of these teams that had a mech or something, and I felt that would be a more useful gun than the one that does more damage to backline but is worse at killing tanks. Probably doesn't really matter, though. All right, so there's only one team left. They're on 1 HP. We're on a big win streak. I would definitely pick up Viegos, but I've used all of my sends, so I can't send another unit over to Grillo. We had maybe like an outside chance of making Viego 3-star, but that's probably not going to happen. Now, look at all those Oxforce emblems. Oxforce, Echo, Oxforce, Leona. Okay, so even if you can get those units to 0 HP, they're still invincible for another second. And any of the units that have the Oxforce trait are also going to get crazy attack speed. So I guess that's going to be Viego is going to have a ton of attack speed. And who else is he playing that has Oxforce? I'd have to go over and look at the board again. All right, well, we've got another emblem here. And I was like, cool, Thief's Glove. We'll just put a Thief's Glove on somebody. I think I put this on Nunu. And remember how I took by the way, I got the option for some other stuff. So we'll just look to run one of these units. I guess Mordekaiser. I actually have double Thief's Gloves because I sold the Yasuo. Remember how earlier in the game, there's 2-star Nunu. Nice. Remember how early in the game I took Cybernetic Shell? Yeah, so I'm getting Cybernetic's benefit on every single unit except Senna and Sivir. Because I've spread out these items. Oh, and then I find Grillo sends me another Mordekaiser with our last send because I had 2 out of 3 Mordekaisers. So I hit Nunu 2-star and Mordekaiser 2-star on this last round to go along with the Aphelios 2-star and the Samira, who is very well itemized in my 4 Sure Shot board. So this is not going to be an especially close last fight. I mean, this person has 3-star Jax, and that's nice and all, but yeah, I think my board has gotten to be pretty good by this point, and I even have the tank killing. Super unit killing gun on Aphelios. So, the video footage is going to cut out for a second there, but there we go. Grillo wins even faster than me, and so that's going to be a wrap as we take this lobby with 87 health. Yeah, this was a pretty easy game. I'm not going to lie. Very straightforward, easy, relaxed game, but that meant it was a good opportunity to just walk through the underground mechanics, talk a little about the heists, and get that out of the way. Again, I don't think that you're normally going to be strong enough to be able to win streak with Underground like this, but if you can win streak with Underground, it makes for a very easy game. And I love the way that our 2 boards came together with this one, so I was happy to share it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care, folks. Have a good one.